Welcome to the first inaugural session of Technogram here at our studio at the Redington office. Since it's our first show, I also wanted to give a background as to why we started this. There are so many unheard stories from the tech industry, and we want to bring them to the forefront. And we are doing this by talking to industry stalwarts and gaining a behind-the-scenes view to the intense digital transformation disruption that's taking place all over the world. On the show with me today, I have a very interesting person who's been at the helm of the distribution landscape in the tech industry for close to 2 decades. He's known for his transformational leadership style, and he believes in disrupting the status quo. He has built the Redington business from scratch in Africa and taken Redington's Technology Solutions Group business unit to over $1 billion in a single year. He's an avid reader and the cutthroat businessman. It's none other than Dharshana Kosgalage, Redington's EVP for Technology Solutions Group. Hi Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi Janice, thanks for having me here.
Katie, of course we will talk about everything that's to do with technology.
Sure.
But I'm also interested to know about your personal journey, your stories. For example, I've heard some great stories coming out of Africa. Like when you started out when you landed in...
Yeah, it's Nairobi, yes.
So what was that experience like, and how did you build the Redington story for that market?
Sure, Janice. First of all, thanks for having me here. And it's a very nice studio you all have created.
Thank you so much.
I think this is, before I talked about myself, probably this is Redington. This is who we are. You build a studio in our environment to talk to the industry leaders, the tech leaders, and the partner community to bring probably the untold story to forward and share with the ecosystem what we have created.
Yes.
So thanks for doing this, and once again thanks for having me here. So you asked me about my story in Africa. So
yes.
So it go back to 15 years.
You mean 15 years ago, right?
15 years ago,
okay.
Exactly. So I was working with one of the leading distributors back in Colombo, and I got opportunity to move myself to Nairobi, Kenya. I never thought that, I always had an idea to move out from my home country, but I never thought that I will land myself in Africa. So, and even today I thank for myself, take that opportunity. Probably that is the biggest turning point of my life. So I got this opportunity to manage Cisco business at that time, to fly down to Nairobi, Kenya, and
so what were your first thoughts when you heard about the place that you're moving?
So it was interesting, and luckily I had one of my friend in Nairobi at that time. There were good amount of Sri Lankan community who are into the tea plantations and the textile industry. So the Kenya, again, famous for tea.
Yes.
If you notice. So I had few friends over there.
Okay.
I mean, not friends, but the people I can probably reach out to and get
right.
some. So I got a good the feedback and the response and the invitations to come to Nairobi.
Nice.
I moved to Nairobi in 2008, latter part of the year, and it was not the great at that time. Nairobi had challenges, and they had some issues, during the year. Everybody the outside Nairobi or Kenya things, and this is not the place to go. But I got this opportunity to move out from my comfort zone, from home country, and I thought, okay, let's take it. So I took the opportunity, came to Redington. I came to Redington Dubai office. That time I met Ram, who was leading the business unit. The next day morning I met Dev,
nice.
my brother, my elder brother. I always consider him my coach and my mentor. So we were together in Ingram, but we were in two different parts.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in India, I was in Colombo, but
okay.
we worked together. But when I land here in Dubai, I saw him. I said, "Oh, look, Dave, what you're doing here?" He said, "Wait, what you're doing here?" So Ram kept that secret that we both are joining, and we joined on the same day, and we joined for a purpose to build a business. So I stayed here for 5 days and moved to Dubai. Moved to Nairobi. With Ram. So he came with me to Nairobi, and we stayed there. I mean, he stayed there for almost 2 days. Then he said, "Look, you are in the market. My responsibility is to bring you here," and I did that.
So that's Ram.
And it's up to you. I have a meeting to catch up. So all yours, and I'm taking my flight back.
So he just left you there.
So he just left me there. The first few days was really difficult for me. I felt like the fish out of water.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in a comfort zone back in Colombo. Friends and the families and the business and the partners, everything is
must have been
to me.
Overwhelming to
Exactly. But come here to Nairobi, people are different. First time in my life, working outside my hometown, home city, home country. A lot of things running on back of my mind. I mean, are you sure? Are you ready to do this? Are you confident? Comfort? My wife is calling me. My son was like 1 year at that time, and good thing and happened to me, and I took it, and I took the challenge, and I told myself, I have taken this decision, and no looking back. So I will make it happen, right? So the people around me helped me. The long story fast forward, was able to establish the business, establish the partner community. The Cisco was the brand who I interacted with. They helped me to establish myself. There were a lot of challenges, Jenny. Language was a challenge, and they couldn't pronounce my name. I mean, there are some stories. I did a one round over there, met most of the partners, and I introduced myself with my first name and my second name.
Right.
So they were like, "Yeah, okay, good." We were the third distributor at that time.
Okay.
The Redington got the Cisco distribution for East Africa. So I did one round and came back. Nobody calls, nobody emails, and I would say, "Hey, what's going on?" So I did the second round. I said, then they started, they opened up and said, "Everything is fine, but the problem is we can't pronounce your name." And it's too long name as well. So I said, "Look, my surname is Kosgalage and my first name is Dharshana. So take K and take D and call me KD, right?" That's how the KD.
Everyone
KD
calls
started.
you KD.
Exactly. So it become like it's comfortable for everybody around me, and they started calling me like KD. And it's worked for me, so then that's okay. It's good. It's keep it like that way. I also like it. Everybody is good. So good experience. I stayed there for almost 3 years. Built the business from the scratch, from Nairobi to the outskirts of Kenya. So then we expanded to East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia. I don't think we have time, but I have sometimes those stories are really interesting. I landed in Tanzania first time. He said, "Look, you landed here with the visa. No, we can't, allow you to enter the country." So I stranded, in Tanzania airport for 1 day, and I had to turn back. So good memories. Some are pleasant, some are not so pleasant. So, but I think it all worked for me.
So then in 2011 is when you moved to Dubai?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So the 2008 until the latter part of 2011, I was building the business, and it was really good experience, and was able to contribute to Redington, was able to create value for Cisco, create value for the partner ecosystem. I was doing well. So then 2011, I got a chance. At that time, the management called me and said, "Hey, you did well. Are you ready to take more responsibilities and expand yourself? And we would like to relocate yourself to Dubai."
So when you came back to Dubai in 2011, what were some of the changes that you think you had to make, positive and negative, in terms of running a business?
Correct. Yeah, sure. So I think the biggest challenge for me moving from Nairobi to Dubai was that I was a channel sales manager in Cisco, and I was running a country or a region. So those are different expertise, different expectations, and so on and so forth. But once I come to Dubai, when I see around me, it's a completely different. It's a matured market, matured country, matured business. Coming from an emerging perspective to sit over here and running Africa. So the first move for me is to move from Nairobi to Dubai, but based out of Dubai, and take care of Africa. So that means East Africa and the West Africa. A few changes happened. My comfort was Cisco, coming from a networking background. So I got the opportunity to manage EMC as well. So the infrastructure. So the brand also new, and living in a new country,
right,
and handling Africa. So you have to travel back and forth. It took some time for me to settle. The biggest challenge apart from the settling was that I was able to create a reputation for me of the certain the business outcomes and the persistence and the hunger, fire. I mean, you name it. It's all put together. I was able to build a brand name for me. I mean, the face value for me, right? So the management was like giving a brand to me and said, look, give it to him and just forget it. So when we have that kind of expectations or the reputations, is always you put a lot of things to live up to the expectations. So that was the biggest challenge for me. And how do I live up to the expectations, and how do I raise the bar high, every opportunity? How do I keep the ecosystem happy? How do I make sure the management happy with my performance? And I do the justice, because it's a big move from Nairobi to here. They did the investment, I did the investment, right? It's a lot of stakes on the line.
So did you change anything in terms of managing the business? Because I'm sure the market there was different. In Dubai, it's different.
Yeah. So the first 1 year, Janice, I was based out of in Dubai, but I was handling Africa. So from the market perspective, it is not a stark change.
Right.
The market is the same. Then after 1 year, I started expanding myself to the likes of Saudi market. So then I got myself to interact with a different culture. So if you see the region what we operate, the Middle East and Africa. So the Gulf and Africa are two different cultures, right? Even in the Gulf, when you go from here to Saudi, is different. From here to Qatar, Oman, Bahrain is different, and you go to Africa is completely different. So I have to recalibrate myself to connect with the people in a different way, to talk to people in a different way. I used to talk in a different manner in Africa with the folks over there. I need to scale down my approach, my language, and how do you interact with the people. Be very careful of dealing with the people coming from a different culture. So I had to adapt myself. So a lot of changes I did myself to adapt and create. Always in my life as a professional life, I'll keep myself saying, how do I add value to the other party? How do I create the dependency? Even today, what I believe is that, I create something for someone, right? That will help me. So challenge number 2 is to keep myself relevance and value for the whole ecosystem.
I think the fact that you've been able to adapt at every scene is something that's truly admirable.
Correct.
Like you said, initially you were managing infrastructure brands, right? And then sometime, I think in 2018, just when cloud was on its ascendance, you were given the reins as well of cloud to manage for Redington.
Correct, yeah.
So, again, this was like a disruption, because same way how you moved from Kenya to Dubai, everything had to change again. Again, you had to change something here at this point, because you're a different line of business now. So, as a leader, what are the top 3 things that you can advise when we have to change gears, when we have to adapt to new environments, what are the top 3 things that we need to do?
Sure. So, Janice, I'll take few seconds to give a bit of a perspective about how it has been changed for me from managing infrastructure business and also to manage the cloud infrastructure.
Yes.
Right. So at one point I had both the businesses with me. One is the matured business. It's required a different attention, different formula. And the other one is the cloud business. At that time, cloud was a buzzword. We started cloud, way ahead of the wave, and we did really well, but we couldn't scale up. So when cloud business came to me, there was expectations and there was a little bit of pains behind that. Because ultimately we are in the business environment, Janice. It is not the outcome matters, the results matters, right? So the cloud had its own progressions in the Redington system, but it was not scaling up at that time. So my charter was that how do you scale up? How do you become the 2x, 3x and create value to the cloud transformation? I have to do a lot of unlearning and relearning from the cloud side, right? But both I had the same with me, right? The infrastructure as well as the cloud.
Right.
So the certain approach, certain things I had to unlearn and relearn. And as you rightly said, how do you adapt? And what are the levers and the dynamics of the cloud business, and how do I embrace and socialize and internalize by myself, right? Then in the infrastructure businesses, that the order of $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, that's where we celebrate. But in the cloud business, $1,000, $500 is something you have to celebrate, right?
Right.
From the celebrating the small things, appreciating the small thing, right? Have a long-term vision and build step by step is the biggest learning for me when I am running through the cloud business. So I was able to transform myself to fit in properly as a leader for the cloud operations and build the cloud for us. So today you have seen the business, my colleague Nehal runs the business. It's become the large and it's keep growing, but the fundamentals we kept and we built it properly. Now coming to the second part of your questions, Janice, that you asked me about, what are those 3 things that me as a leader I always...
I think one I've already got from your answer is learning and unlearning, right?
Correct. So this is I think it is important for everybody. Every opportunity, everything is relearning, unlearning and relearning. Right. That's one element. The other one is the learning part of it. Right. Every opportunity is learn. So apart from learning, I keep 3 things in my mind, Genesis, all the time, right? As a leader or as becoming more of a matured and moving upwards, right? So 3 key words I keep myself, and I try to live in these 3 words. The word number 1 is the judgment, right? So it is very, very clear. So today I do have a team under myself, and I'm responsible for a larger business and responsible for the families and the ecosystems and the listed company for the objectives what the company has put. But your judgment, the right judgment is matters, right? How do I say no to a thing and yes to a thing, right? How do I judge properly, right? The people and the businesses and the environment and the challenges. So I'm not there, but I keep myself improving my ability to make the right judgment, right? I think as a leader, judgment is very key thing.
And very tough.
Exactly.
Because it's so difficult to make the right
decision. The second point or the second word I keep in my mind is the influence, right? It is always easy for a leader to tell somebody what to do, right? It's always difficult to get somebody to do what you think is right, without saying him to do, right? I feel this is important, right? So how do I tell somebody in the ecosystem that, hey, this is, I think, the right thing to do, and this is the business that we're into, right? And get that person to believe my thoughts, right? That's largely the influence. So how do we influence? How do we influence in the family for your kids and your family members to the good course? How do you influence your team members in the company to keep them in the right course, right?
Yeah.
So the influence is probably the second word I would go by. Third is the creativity or the imagination. So I always keep this in mind. I said, look, stay foolish, as Steve Jobs said, right? So the stay foolish, stay hunger, and find the way to solve the problem in a different way. So the creativity, imaginations is something I always keep in my mind. So as a leader, what are those three things? If you ask me to summarize, it's judgment, influence, and the imagination.
Yeah. Wonderful. I think that those are very interesting, and I think I've learned. This is something that I will also keep in mind going forward, and I'm sure everyone who's watching the show will also find it interesting. So I think by now you know where I'm going with my questions. Katie, you've always been in an environment where it is disruptive by nature.
Yeah.
And then you have to conjure tactics to tame the disruption.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think the biggest question of the hour right now is the beast that we are all talking about is AI.
Yeah.
So how is the TSG at Redington navigating the maze of AI?
Sure. I think, Jenny's, the disruptions, I mean, luckily, or we are very lucky to be in the technology industries, and we are the first one probably to see the disruptions coming as a frontline of the technology service providers or the channel ecosystem. So when the cloud came from the infrastructure, it has been disrupted. Our charter was that how distribution or the Redington be relevant for the whole ecosystem, and we sailed through and we found the way. And today, in the cloud operations, the distribution or Redington playing a very vital role because we create our position in that transformation journey. Now, today's the transformation is AI, Gen AI. You rightly said, Janice. We have adapt the same disruption strategies what we have done in the past, right? First of all, embrace the change, right? And believe that yes, AI is not just the scientific project and it's real, right? We have seen it, right? Then how do we navigate that? It is for our business environment, it is little different or difficult for us to pinpoint the AI on a very verticalized solution. The way what we believe is the artificial intelligence or the Gen AI and predictive analysis or the analytics is more of a horizontal thing. So we have a business unit, right? So we call the analytics application automations business unit, and we are transforming that particular business unit into the data and AI. Right. So we already onboarded some of the leading brands driving the analytics or the AI portfolio. So we are working with them and we are creating the ecosystem around that. So a couple of things we do right now, Janice, and probably your ecosystem will hear what we are doing as we move forward. We started building the certain AI tools or the product for our own consumption. So you will take these products to the market in the near future. We are at the MVP stage. So this is to adapt the AI for our internal consumption.
Okay.
Right. This will help us to create the efficiency, and this will create us to bring down the cost of operations and the cost of human capital.
So we become the use case first.
Exactly. That is one approach. The second approach is that because we are into the technology business and we are into the technology reselling business, we are building the AI portfolio. So you will start seeing some of these large vendors we already onboarded, and the activity is what we are doing. So these are the two large things we do. The third thing is the enabler to drive this AI tools, what we built, and the AI ecosystem is the use cases, right? The AI or the new age technology is how do we take to the market what we believe is through the use cases, right? So we are going to share some of these use cases, especially with you, and you can take to your ecosystem and your channel, in educations, in healthcare, in energy, oil and gas, transportation, so banking,
Yes.
public sector, healthcare, right? Many of these industries, how the AI, the data analytics being used. So these use cases will be the drive for us to take the opportunity what we have into the future. So we are very excited. Again, the same will go. A lot of unlearning we have to do, Chinese,
Yes.
and we need to do a lot of relearning. It's not easy, but we keep learning ourselves to make sure that we will drive this wave of AI and make the businesses out of this for the company of Redington as well as the ecosystem of ours.
Yes, so we do have a lot of value add for our channel partners
Yes,
as well,
yes,
right?
yeah. See, what we do, Janice, is that we always do that. Most of the time, you require a good amount of competencies, the capabilities to, they adapt and create these new technologies, right?
Yes.
When I'm saying adapt and create is not, we're not creating any technologies. What we're doing is we bring these technologies and we get ourselves competent and we create the capabilities, and that will be make available for our channel partners to use it to take the product or the solutions to the market. So that is what we're doing. So even in the AI and the data and AI, the initiatives what you're doing, we're doing the same thing. So we will do the investment, we will become competent, we will become capable and make ourselves available for the channel ecosystem. So
Got
they
it.
will use us to solve their customers' problem.
Right.
Right. So that's, if you see the Redington DNA is we always a channel friendly, we always a channel first, and we are the channel driven distribution company, right? So we will keep ourselves available for our channel ecosystem. They can access the assets, the competencies, the capabilities, the technologies, the products and the tools that we are creating, and they will take to the market.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of immense potential
Exactly.
for AI.
Exactly.
But I'm interested to know as well, what do you think is the scariest outcome of AI?
So, Janice, I'm no expert in this. I'm learning myself.
Yes.
Right. In my early learnings, probably I call out two. The one is with the AI, the creativity element of the humans. Right.
Okay.
So if you see it's nearly around $14 billion market for creators, right? When I'm saying creators or the creativity is you put the content and the movies and the films and all sorts of creations of the creativities. So when you embrace the artificial intelligence, right, the machines will monopolize this creativity.
Okay.
Right.
That sounds.
I feel that is scary, right? So the human ability to create things probably will go down, right?
AIs can write poems and everything.
Exactly. One way to look at is that how do you augment the human ability by using the AI? So that's a positive way to look at it, right? But I'm a bit worried about the human ability to go down because of the AI.
Yeah, that's
Right?
an interesting.
That's something I keep myself. I use AI tools right now, but when I say to write an email to this on this topic, I tell myself that my ability to write will go low as we move forward, right? So I'm a little worried about in the education sector. I'm a little worried about the kids and the students, because they will adapt to this, and the human abilities to do to create may go low. That's one thing. The second thing is the intellectual properties, right? So how do you secure that? The legal framework, how the authorities will react to that, right? So this is the second area probably I feel
I think
is scary. Third, but not the least, apart from these two, Janice, is that the security element of that.
Oh, yes.
Right. So the you will get a lot of AI avatar, and how do you secure?
How do you know whether it's real or not?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So these are probably the scary elements.
It does sound very alarming.
Yeah.
And so this actually, it's a nice segue to my next question, because in your position as a leader, you have taken thousands of interviews, I'm assuming, right, for the new candidates and everything.
Yes.
So what do you think is the biggest potential for the upcoming generation, and how do you see them changing the dynamics of work?
Correct. Yeah.
Also, Katie, like I remember last year, like at a Reimagine 23.
Yeah.
We heard about how personal AI is going to drive the productivity matrix at work and in our personal lives.
Correct.
So what are your thoughts?
Correct. So two parts of your question, Jen, is the first part is that when I interview or meet people, it's the younger generations who is joining the workforce, right? I'm very interested and very keen to bring this young talent to our business. And I drive to some of programs internally. Personally, I'm very, very biased to that. The reason is that these young generations, they come out from these B schools and the tech schools. They come with a lot of ideas and the creativities, right? So I would like to to build a team around that. So I'm very keen to bring them on board. The scary part of that, or the challenge part of that, is that with these creativities and imaginations, they bring the challenge as well, because their expectations of a corporate life is totally different.
Absolutely.
Right. So what we believe is that they probably prior to COVID, there is no concept of the remote working or the virtual working, right? So the post-COVID or during COVID, we embrace the virtual working.
Yes.
Post-COVID, we have the hybrid model. So you work from office, work from home.
Work from anywhere.
Work from anywhere, right? But it has its own limitations, and from the government level, the country level, and the corporate levels, right? But these young kids have a different expectations, right? So how do I meet those expectations, right? How do I meet their expectations, and how do I get the best out of them, right? How do I blend these two is probably the biggest challenge, and
for a leader,
I am exactly. This is the first part of your question. So the second part of the question is that you talked about the AI tools, what we do to in our workplace. So we have used or using many AI portfolio, the product or the tools, largely to augment what we do and get the efficiency, right? Most of our repetitive jobs, right? If you look at my order processing, right? So many steps are repetitive. Now we have replaced this with machines.
Okay.
Right? We replace a lot of repetitive work, the administrative work with the machines, and we are getting our team members or the humans to create something different and use their time and energy to add value of the coming out from this repetitive thing. So far we got good success, and we are looking forward to share some of these success cases, use cases to the ecosystem through your channel. Yeah,
I'm sure that going forward, even with the new generation coming to the workforce, there'll always be some kind of space to have the human element really there and help with the productivity or any kind of ideas that we have. There's some things that AI cannot replace, is what I think.
Exactly.
Let's see how that goes.
Sure, Janice.
Thank you so much, Katie. This has been an interesting show. But before I let you go, I have a confession to make.
Tell me.
I did some digging into your personal life, and I found a picture of you where it looks nothing like you. You look very scruffy, you have a beard, you have a very fierce look in your eye, And I realized then that while you were scaling the disruptions that was happening in the tech space, you were scaling mountains.
Oh, okay. All right. So you are referring to the Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? Why did you do it?
Sure.
What was your learning?
Sure. I think the kudos go to the leadership at that time. So they come out and said, look, guys, we are in a lifestyle that continues. We do 24/7. Chinese, the industry what we are in, whether you like it or not, it is a 24/7 job.
That's true.
Right? So we thought, okay, let's have some good downtime. And rather than going to a very cozy place, why don't we do a kind of adventures and see what is our internal potential as people and as a team, and how do we bring the sum of these things together.
Wow.
So we were like around 20 odd folks, all the team leadership at that time. We were preparing for this Mount Kenya trip for almost 4 to 5 months time. That is why you see not only me, that the entire crew who went were having beard. This is to show that the unity of the team.
Oh, that's nice.
Right? And to bring everybody kind of together.
So you were individually training and everything?
Yes. So we train here, but here you can do, if you want to do hiking, you need to go out of the city and do, right?
Yes.
But we did only the walking part of it, right?
Okay.
So we didn't do the hiking.
Right.
So we took the flight, but we were prepared with the gears and we prepared with the look and all these things.
I've seen a photo where all of you had the long beard.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we went to Nairobi. We were first day were there. We got the full briefing. We relaxed ourselves. The next day morning, we started our journey.
So back to where you started your career as well.
Exactly. So we did this trip almost 5 days, and this include 3 days of hiking.
Okay.
Right. So the experience is one of the best experience what we have done. Right. So as a team, because in hiking you can't do. So if you're a pro, you can do it.
Yes.
So out of this 20 lot, none of us are pro.
Okay.
Right? So we should stick together. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, we should take care of each other.
Who was the leader of the pack?
Right? So at that time, Ram was the leader of the pack, right? But we got some, the company, the activities to lead. So there are certain people over there with us, but they can't do hiking for us, right? So we had to do the hiking, right?
Yeah.
So we were like doing hiking 7-8 hours in a day.
That's insane.
Right?
Wow.
And we had to do the walking as a team. Right? So sometimes we follow each other. There are different terrains, you go through a plain, you hike and through the rocks and through the water, and very interesting. Then every now and then you need to keep your oxygen level.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
you need to drink water.
What an experience.
Right? So you need to drink water and you need to hydrate yourself and you need to keep the pace. Then when you start place and the end place in that particular day, that's where you do the camping. So you can't stay in between, right? So whether you are tired or not, you have to walk 7-8 hours.
And everybody had different pace of walking.
So everybody is different. That's the most important thing, right? Some are good, some are at the front, some are just go behind, some are, right? So we learned a lot of leadership principles over there, right? So when you're leading the pack, so you need to make sure that the last guy also part of your course, right?
Yes.
So you can't speed up. So if you speed up, the people left behind, right? And you can't slow down, because if you slow down, you will not reach the destination at the time, right? There are a lot of learning. Few people have broke down.
Okay.
They said, no, we can't do. They were crying, and the team who organized this said, don't worry anything about that. These are the 4 numbers, which is your satellite numbers, and there will be airlift if you have any problem. Okay. Right? So I felt that was a morale boost given, because when we were in the terrain, no phone was working.
Oh my God.
So, but we have to take care of each other.
Okay.
Right. So while we are doing this whole journey, we must take care of everyone. We must keep the pace, right? And we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of others because we are 20 odd guys, and we started together, and we must end together. And we did that. We did the summit, and it was really enjoying. Then when we came down one day, and the next 2 days we had a nice camp, and we did.
I'm sure when you reached the summit, it must have been an incredible feeling.
It is. Even today is one of my highlights in my life, and I will do one more time, probably with my son or maybe the colleagues around me. So we are planning for that as well. But it's a tremendous experience, right? It's not just go for a trip. It is all about how do you work together. The most of the leadership qualities, right? To and achieve an objective on time. Just imagine, morning we start probably around 7:30. You have to reach the camp, before get dark, so before 8, right?
Right.
If you not reach, there is nobody. There is no taxi to go and pick you up, right?
Right.
So it's a priceless experience, I would say.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You've been super inspiring and really some great insights. I look forward to you coming here again and talking to us more and sharing more stories.
Sure, Janice. So thanks a lot one more time, and all the very best. I feel this is a great channel. Please invite as much as possible the leaders around us, and go beyond Redington and bring the industry leaders. We have the ecosystem, we have the partners. I think everybody should tell the untold story. And that's really inspiring many people.
Thank you, KD. Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Janice.